This is Sarah Squires bringing you behind the headlines in today's edition of WYO Today Newsroom. Today, I am joined on the show by Tisha Tuttle. She's with Wyoming Senior Citizens, Inc. Welcome to the show, Tisha.
Hi, Sarah. Thanks for having me.
So before we kind of get into the weeds here and start talking about the details, I'm wondering if maybe we can start with the basics about kind of the summary of what the work is that you do at Wyoming Senior Citizens, Inc.
Absolutely. My work is focused around the SHIP program, which we are Medicare counselors, providing free, unbiased information for Medicare beneficiaries across the state of Wyoming, making sense of what Medicare is, what it covers, and what your rights are.
Well, that's a perfect lead into kind of our major point of interest here today. And that's kind of going over some of the basics when it comes to Medicare. And I think a good place to start is maybe when is a good time for folks to start thinking about Medicare as they're looking ahead to retirement? And what are some factors that they should be, keeping in mind as they make those plans?
Absolutely. I kind of joke that nothing with the government goes fast, including your enrollment into Medicare. So start planning that about 6 months out of retirement. The reason I say 6 months is depending on your type of insurance. If you have a high deductible plan where you have an HSA, when you are planning to go to Medicare, you can actually be penalized for contributing to that HSA before enrollment. So be conscious and mindful, and 6 months before you plan retirement or before you retire, stop contributing to that HSA. And during that period, you have 7 months around your birthday when you turn 65. 3 months before your birthday, the month of, and 3 months after to get enrolled in Parts A and B to avoid penalties.
Now, I think you started kind of introducing some of this alphabet soup, Tisha, but, I know there are a lot of labels that we slap onto the different components of Medicare. Can you kind of go over some of the basics here for us so we have a little bit of a handle on that?
Absolutely. Much like Campbell's alphabet soup, there's many letters that play in this bowl of Medicare. Part A is your hospital coverage. When you're admitted, those kind of things. That is your Part A coverage. Once you walk into those four walls and you've been admitted to the hospital, that's Part A. Part B is anytime that medical professional walks into the room, the doctor coverage. Doctors, durable medical equipment, anything that a doctor could order, diabetic testing supplies and insulin pumps are now covered under Part B as well. So those are some of the beginning letters of that alphabet soup.
Absolutely.
The building blocks, if you will.
Yeah. So then we start kind of working our way through some other letters of the alphabet here when we start talking about supplement plans. So what should we keep in mind? What are they for, and what should we know about those?
Absolutely. The way I explain original Medicare, where you would need that supplement plan, is a series of unfortunate events, is how I describe original Medicare. So if you get into a car accident, step A is going into the hospital, because that's your hospital coverage. Step B, your doctor walks in the room. That's bravo for your doctors. And they want you to feel better, so they're going to prescribe you some drugs, which is Part D. And then you're left at the end wondering, how do I pay for the rest of this? And that is those supplemental or secondary Medigap plans. So that is original Medicare in a soup. Those supplement plans can go back through the alphabet from A through N, and you can choose whichever one of those letters identifies the amount of coverage you get. The most common plans in Wyoming would be a G, as in gold, or N, as in November, because they cover 100% of those items that they do cover. Both of them, you have to pay your Part B deductible, and that's a whole different number. But they offer very similar coverages. I don't know about you, but if I'm going to pay for something, it better cover something.
Yeah.
And that's original Medicare, where you would run into a lot more of those alphabeticals through that supplement plan. Any company that offers a G plan legally is required to cover the same things as any other G plan on the market. The only difference is cost and customer service. So utilize a company that doesn't cost an arm and a leg to provide the very same coverage without paying out the nose so long as they're providing the right customer service. I love the value of a local agent. We have some great agents in Fremont County or in Wyoming. Farmers, State Farm, Blue Cross Blue Shield. Eric Smart is a local agent that is a broker that has more than one company under his belt as well. You can utilize many options.
You know, I think the one common denominator that I'm thinking about in the back of my mind here is that, folks that are trying to navigate this are going to have questions. And so, Tisha, what does it look like when you guys are assisting folks with their Medicare questions? Should they just pick up the phone and call, or do you do appointments? Can you kind of walk them through every step? What does that look like for folks who are having those questions?
Absolutely. We love when we have beneficiaries that will call and say, hey, I'm turning 65 in like 4 months. Teach me your ways and lead me through this. Absolutely. We'd love to schedule an appointment. We do outreach opportunities. I'm doing a series of 3 Medicare trainings at CWC this spring. So that'll be fun. You can look for that on the Riverton Rec page as well. Some Medicare 101 courses, navigating Medicare.gov, knowing the difference between original Medicare and Medicare Advantage.
Absolutely. So if you're just tuning in here, folks, we're talking to Tisha Tuttle. She's with Wyoming Senior Citizens, Inc., and that they are such a cool organization. It is a no-cost kind of for a lot of the programs that they administer, including SHIP, which helps folks navigate Medicare, answer those questions, get you signed up, and know when you've got, maybe a deadline coming up that you didn't know about. And you can reach out to Tisha and the rest of her crew by giving them a call at 307-856-6880. It sounds like you can also make an appointment and go in there and sit down with somebody and really kind of hash out those details, break out those booklets, and figure out what's going on. So, Tisha, could you maybe give us a little bit of a rundown? I know we've really focused in on SHIP and Medicare right now, but I know that you've got a variety of services. Maybe we should just kind of tick those off so people who are listening can kind of keep those in mind too.
Absolutely. So we have, of course, the Medicare program with SHIP. We have SMP, where you have protecting Medicare fraud, waste, billing errors, and issues. We have the Family Caregiver and WISE program, helping seniors age in place as long as possible. Or if you are a caregiver, even to a young adult, there's respite care for that as well. We have the long-term care ombudsman, helping those in assisted living facilities advocate for themselves, their rights, protections, just making sure that you get the care that you need or your loved one does. And then we have the foster grandparent and senior companion programs, where our seniors can volunteer either in a school or with other seniors. Kind of provide socialization. Some of those can come with a small stipend that is non-taxable, so that income can be nice. Yeah, that's really great. I think I've heard from folks who sort of find the perfect balance where they're using some of the programs where you've got folks coming in to provide some of that assistance. As we age, maybe it's getting tougher to crawl behind the toilet and give it a scrub and that kind of thing. And then they're kind of trading off that time and going out into the community, volunteering and, getting that social interaction and, forming those positive relationships, especially, when they've got those mentorship partnerships with local kids too. So think about, what your life might look like or your loved one's life might look like if you just took advantage of the programs that are out there and maybe traded a little bit of the frustrating tasks for some things that are really enjoyable, like the grandparent, what is it called? The foster grandparent
program. That's such a great one. So if you are interested in learning more about any of these programs that we spoke about or getting your questions answered about Medicare, if you're kind of looking ahead to retirement and you want to know what you need to know when you need to know it, you can reach out to Wyoming Senior Citizens, Inc. at 307-856-6880. Now, before we go, Tisha, I wanted to just kind of open the floor here. Do you have any other advice that we should really keep in mind, whether it is me, myself, kind of looking ahead at retirement? Maybe you've been counting the days till you're eligible, but maybe, you're like some of the folks I know who said, you know what, I'm not ready yet. Or a loved one who's kind of trying to step into those waters too. What are some big big pointers we should sort of keep in mind?
Absolutely. I think knowing the enrollment dates, what are those deadlines looking like for you as you come up to 65? Do you plan on still working or not? Everybody's situation can look so different. So be aware of what your situation is. Call if you're not sure. We are happy to help and educate and lead you to where you need to go, whether it's enrolling in Part A and keep working. Medicare Part A will just pay secondary, or you know what, my employer coverage costs more than Medicare would. Let's just go full Medicare and I can stay working. So there are some things that every situation can look different. If you're not sure, give us a call. Happy to help and guide. I think the most dangerous thing you can do is not know where to start. And listening, tuning in, and being a part of this is just the right place to start.
Absolutely. Well, the folks at Wyoming Senior Citizens Inc. can help you out with these questions and more if you just give them a call here at 307-856-6880. Today's show is brought to you by Porter's Mountain View Supply. If you're looking for a better way to relax, especially after a long Wyoming day of hard work, stop by Porter's Mountain View Supply in Riverton. They offer quality hot tubs built for comfort, durability, and year-round enjoyment. Whether you want a place to unwind, ease sore muscles, or spend time with family and friends, their team will help you find the hot tub that fits your space and your lifestyle. Porter's Mountain View Supply is known for friendly, knowledgeable service, so give them a call at 307-856-6066 or stop in and talk with the team today.